Welcome to Century Arena. It's the Fort Garry Twins and the St. James Junior Canucks for the final regular season game of the year for these two teams going into the MMJHL playoffs. My name is Graham Seaver and I'm joined by Graham Forsyth. Last game for the Twins, they scored in every period to beat the Raiders Junior Hockey Club 4-1 on goals from Sloan Tremblay, Kai Parker, Owen Osterman, and Carter Halamandaris. Tonight's the final regular season tune-up against the Canucks, who have been absolutely crazy for the second straight year. They're 39-4-1. So for Graham, what's the difference between these two teams, man?
Well, I could tell you for the visitors, the St. James Junior Canucks, for them, the difference all season long has been the experience that they have and the skill of that experience. 15 returning players to this year's team from last year's championship squad who went 37-2-2, and this year, as you mentioned, 39-1-0. They're just the all-around package, scoring 268 goals this season and only allowing 115 against, 236 goals for last year, 127 against. I had the pleasure to talk to Blair Mooney yesterday, Graham, just about the upcoming matchup and this season and just about some of the players on his team.
Coach, 15 players returning from last year's championship team. You guys are going to finish better than last year in terms of the standings, improving the record to 39-4-1 compared to last year's 37-4-2-2. I mean, of course, having a lot of the guys back from last year that made that championship team so good is huge. Of course, having Rory Neal back, as well as Tyrone Willen, Gilbert still in net, and all the other good pieces. Talk about how special it is to see this group taking it to another level this season.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it was obviously we had a really good year last year and finishing with a championship, but the regular season, we like you said, we were 37-4-4, so it was tough to improve on that, but we found a way to do it, and just consistency all year has been the main thing. Obviously, we had lots of guys return from last year, which helps. You got guys that were part of a long championship run and part of a successful team last year, so winning kind of becomes like something they like the taste of, right? So that they continue to do it, and it's been good. It's been a good year so far.
Getting the contributions offensively from the back end, getting the contributions from the top end talent, and Tyrone Willen and Cale Price up front, paired with that depth. The goaltending's been phenomenal. I mean, Noah Gilbert's only lost one game all season long. Seeing it all truly come together, seeing the contributions coming from everywhere, makes it a lot easier to coach, I bet.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Like we as an organization, obviously we've put together a pretty good team but over the last few years, it's kind of come like when we got Cale Price, Brady Whiteley, and Noah Gilbert, they played as 17-year-olds. They had an opportunity. Like Brady had played the previous year in the MJ. Cale Price they were maybe thinking about playing for Portage, but he opted to play for us instead. And once you get a couple of those guys and you start to win a little bit, we were always kind of around like third place, fourth place, and fighting in around there. And then you get a couple of those young guys that come, and then all of a sudden a few of their buddies decide they want to play. And then the younger kids come to the games, think it looks like a fun place to play, and then they come. So over the past couple of years, we've been able to accumulate some talent for sure. And there's a lot of guys on the team that obviously have some really good numbers, but it's our depth that wins us a lot of games. Like there's going to be games when those guys are getting checked pretty hard and not being able to find a lot of free ice. And then you hope your depth can step up. And we've been pretty fortunate. Like we got a bunch of 20 goal scorers and a few 30. And we got like Ethan Robson's a guy that's pretty unsung hero. Like he's got 56 points or something like that. But he just dominates games on the boards, and our D have done a good job. And Gibby and Ned obviously is doing his thing. So it's just the depth overall has been what has carried us to a lot of wins, and hopefully a few more down the stretch here.
Talking about Rory Neal, this guy's been terrific this season. He was terrific last year. 89 points in 42 games played, leads the league in goals at 49, tied it for the league in points with teammate Tyrone Willen. Talk about what it's been like sitting back and watching Rory Neal go out and do his thing this year and dominate in the league.
Yeah, he's I mean, you say a special player, that's not really doing it justice. Like he's he's unbelievable. And he's a great kid. That's the first thing everybody always asks, kind of what it's like coaching him. And as much as like you just kind of give him the odd bit of advice because he's a special player and he does very high end stuff out there, but he is open to advice. Like there's lots of players you could have in the past that are like star players and stuff that aren't necessarily as willing to take advice or to learn new things. And he's more than willing to do that. People always ask what it's like to coach him, or, oh, it must be nice having him on the team. And it definitely is. Like clearly he's got 49 goals and he's a defenseman. Like he's something this league hasn't really seen before. I think other teams in the league would probably say that as well. We're fortunate to have him, and but as good as he is as a player, he's an even better kid, which is awesome to say, and fortunate to know him and have the luxury of coaching him.
You're going up against Fort Garry Twins team that you guys have handled pretty well this season. A team that does bring some challenging factors to the table, though, with some of their top end talent. Their goaltender can come out to play. The closest they've been to you guys this season was a 7-5 loss. Last time out, you beat them 8-1. So in terms of going out playing this team, final game of the season, knowing how they play, talk about the challenges heading to Century Arena to play against the Twins to finish off the year.
This time of year, you're kind of walking that line of wanting to be ready for the playoffs, but also not wanting anybody to get hurt in a meaningless game or anything like that, standing wise, right? So, but you don't want to be limping into the playoffs because we're starting already on Tuesday. So for us, it's just about building good habits and making sure we keep those good habits in our game. And I'm sure they're going to be doing the same thing. And but both teams are going to be like trying to get ready for playoffs, right? So it's one of those things where it'll be sort of a friendly game because no one wants to get hurt, but at the same time, like everyone wants to be playing at a high level come early next week. So they always present a good challenge. Like they're well coached. Pat Power's a good guy. We've talked like throughout the season anytime we play him, and he has those guys. I mean, they're kind of in that mix right in the middle there where there's a bunch of teams that were fighting with each other from second to fifth and sixth all year that you could, you're going to get a good game against those guys all the time. We've been fortunate to come out on the right end of it, but they always put up a good fight, and they've had really good special teams. Like their power play was ranked number 1 for a lot of the year. So you got to be careful taking penalties against those guys and putting them up a man. But yeah, like it'll be one of those things where got to respect who you're playing every night in our league, but especially when you go into Century to play those guys, it's going to be a good game all the time.
And that was Blair Mooney, Graham, and you could just see it. He's coached for 8 years. He knows how good this team is, and just getting the most out of these guys and them responding, getting the taste of winning like he alluded to, and them wanting to experience it again is a huge part of why they're so driven this year.
And then on the other side for the Twins, head coach Pat Power, I talked to him for a couple minutes before today's game.
For you guys, at face value, you've already made the playoffs. You're playing another team that's already qualified for the playoffs. But there's still got to be some meaning to the game tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. We want to finish on a good note, right? Keep good habits going into the playoffs for next week and finish hard. And, win's a win. We take wins any day of the week. And just want to finish with good habits, essentially, going forward.
Yeah, sure. You want to keep that up. And then, so just looking back on the season, given this is your last game, is there any key off the ice moments, or not necessarily wins and losses, but key sort of moments that sort of define your season, maybe?
That's a good question. I'd probably have to sit down and think about that a little more to reflect. But we got a pretty good group. We have a good group of guys, right? And they're a tight group. Lots of these guys have grown up playing together, whether it's AAA or high school. So I wouldn't say we have one moment that maybe defines us, but I think I remember it was probably early October we did a team outing, and I kind of just thought, maybe 1 or 2 guys would show up.
Yeah.
Or no, a handful of guys would show up, right? All of a sudden, we had like the whole team show up, and it just showed how close these guys really were, right? We didn't go into a team outing, and everybody showed up to support each other. So yeah, maybe something like that, but I wouldn't say one thing has defined us as a group.
Sure, it's a long season.
Yeah, so not essentially one thing, but just maybe how close and tight-knit this group really is probably been an attribute to their success.
Sure. And then it wasn't that long ago, you guys did have a tough stretch. I think it was 5 games in a row And I know you guys had some guys missing and stuff, but it seems like you've bounced back pretty good. You've had some. You're coming off a win last game. Can you talk about sort of your rebound from that?
Yeah, I would say kind of after Christmas, we had definitely had that little bit of a lull there, right? I always call it the dog days of winter, right? It's
Sure.
minus 40 out, and you're coming to the rink, and
Yeah.
just that lull, right? Yeah, we definitely had a little lull this season, and no excuses. Yeah, we're short guys, but I feel in the last 3-4 weeks we've definitely kind of turned our game around and going back in that right direction. And like I said, you want to hit the gas pedal full throttle going into the playoffs. So hopefully that's the direction we're going.
Sure, yeah. And then so on the ice, like I said, you're coming off a win tonight. Is there anything you want to kind of look for against you're playing a good team today? Is there anything?
Yeah, no, we're playing the best team in the league.
Yeah.
There's no question about it. They're the best team in the league. You know what? And I just finished writing my lineup card and kind of some key points where just good habits, right? Getting your pucks out, finishing your checks, getting things to the net, supporting each other, things like that, right? Like we're dressing 4 APs tonight, so we're a little short-handed. Giving some guys a rest.
Sure.
Yes, this game doesn't mean anything for standings or points, but like you said, you still want to come out and compete, have a good showing, show that we can compete with the best team in the league, right? And have that confidence as well.
He didn't really mention in that conversation was just how many guys are going to be resting tonight for the Twins, but I think it's still true. You still want to win, and the guys that are in the game, it's a good experience going up against a really good team. It's good to, I think, in hockey, have some adversity before you play important games like they're going to in the playoffs. Both teams have it locked up, and then for a few guys, it's going to be a good chance to get into the game tonight. They're going to have Carson Fisher and Kennedy Kerr playing in goaltender as APs, and then Porter Holland and Casey Rayburn also getting in the game tonight as additional players for the Twins.
Yeah, and we got the list from video coach Marc Belanger, and the guy who films all the games here for G Show Productions. Well, I say all games, but it's only been one game so far, many to come in the future. But the guy's not dressed tonight for either resting purposes or injuries. It is Melstad, Osterman, Matani, Gardner, Cockle, Pasesnikov, Helamandaris, Birch Hayden, as well as Rylan Medwick. So a lot of players out going up against a fully loaded St. James Junior Canucks team that is looking for their 40th win of the season. But yeah, for this Twins team, if one thing that they gotta use to their advantage tonight is just their ability to fight and their ability to grind out games. We've seen them, when they get physical, use their body and cycle, work it around to the point, get shots, traffic. Good things happen for this team. The one thing I'm interested to see is how will this team respond without Birch Hayden in net.
Definitely. Like I said, the two goalies tonight are going to be Kennedy Kerr and Carson Fisher. Kerr has not played in a game this year, but Fisher played in one game this year. It was a victory, and so for him, it's only one game on the season. It's definitely something to add to, but it'll definitely be a good experience for him. And then conversely, the other guys, the Canucks, not really sitting anyone. They have, like we said, a whole host of stars that are on their team, and they're going to be in the game today. 6 guys on the team have a point per game or better, and they're very close to having another guy, Matthew Mason Vandell, who's very close to that mark, and he's got 3 points in 4 games against the Twins. So the guys who are in there, they'll be really up against it, but an opportunity to really build a lot of confidence in a game that, let's face it, on the standings won't actually make a difference.
Yeah, and Graham, you would ask me, and I didn't answer the second part of the question, what the difference is between these two teams, and I would say the overall skill from St. James tonight in terms of tonight's matchup against the current skill that Fort Garry has. And of course, Fort Garry is without their top 2 point getters in Osterman and Helamandaris tonight. One guy who I think they're going to have to rely on heavily is Gilberto. Just looking at him having 17 goals, 12 assists, 29 points. Third on the team in points. Nick Gilberto playing 38 games this season. He'll have to be a difference maker. We've seen his skill on display, and we know he can be that.
Yeah, they've played without him at a few points in the year. So, to kind of balance things out, it might make some sense to leave him in the game tonight. And Graham, just talking about how the Canucks have been this season, has been dominant. And like you said, defending champions last year, but looking at the record from the last couple of years, one thing looking at it today that really stuck out to me, they won their first 14 games of the year, 11 by more than one goal. And then if you count games from last year in the regular season, besides the playoffs, which they won, if you count the end of the year last year and the start of the year this year, that was a 26-game winning streak of regular season games. And then in the playoffs last year, they only lost 2 games at all. One to the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. They won that one in 5 games, and one to Pembina Valley in the finals. Before that, they swept Charleswood in the first round to become champions for the first time since 97-98. Right now, they're about to enter into their playoff tournament where they'll try to become champions for a third time in franchise history. Going up against the Twins tonight, who they've beaten 4-0, 6-1, 7-5, and 8-1. And Graham, that 8-1 game was on February 5th. That was the 5th loss in a row for the Twins during a real bad losing streak. And you heard Pat actually talk about that during the interview, and just the way that they were able to bounce back from that and just kind of keep some momentum going. The last time they actually beat the Canucks was on February 1st of last year. It was a Ryan Brennan overtime goal. And going up against a team tonight that it's not going to be easy. They've gotten close once. There was a 7-5 win earlier in the year. But the guys in blue are no pushover. So we'll see what they have this evening.
Yeah, and like for St. James, I'll talk about them and then Fort Garry, but I was speaking to Blair Mooney, and just knowing that he's been the coach there for 8 years, knowing how many good teams he's had before last year, and they just couldn't quite get over the hump, getting to the finals and losing in 7 games to Pembina Valley, so it was a rematch last year in the finals. But just the program he's built, and I didn't include it in the interview, I cut it out for time purposes, but I wanted to touch on it. He's very about building within the community, having his players go out in the community, having camps and that stuff to have the name recognition. And I think that's such a cool thing. And with all the talent in St. James, if Blair Mooney, if they continue to follow his philosophy, because he has hinted at retirement before, he wasn't sure if he was coming back this season, but decided to. St. James, that's a philosophy I think other teams should follow by, because I think that's so huge. Relates to what we're learning in college as well, right, Graham, with the PR aspect of things. So that's some good PR there. But for the Fort Garry Twins, we've seen the ups from them this season and the downs. There's been parts where they went on a long losing streak, about 5 games like you mentioned. But, they've shown some good things later on here in the season. Last time we were out, they beat the Transcone Railer Express. The time before, it wasn't so good when we watched. Game wasn't broadcasted, but they played against the Raiders Junior Hockey Club and lost in a shootout. So there's been the ups and the downs, and for Fort Garry, it's a tough task tonight because St. James is coming fully loaded. Fort Garry's without some really key players, but you gotta dig in, dig deep, and reach from within and give your best performance, a spirited one, heading into the playoffs.
And you mentioned just sort of the way that things have gone lately for the Canucks. It wasn't actually that long ago that the Canucks and Twins were the 2 last-place teams in the Manitoba Major Junior Hockey League. There's always 2 teams that don't make the playoffs, and I think it was only about 2015, like relatively speaking, not that long ago. And he's up by the coach has been there for a long time. They were the 2 last-place teams, and it's just interesting how far they've come, because for a while, before they're going to skid halfway through the year, the Twins are the best power play and the best penalty kill in the whole league. Now the best power play belongs to the St. James Canucks. But just the way things have turned around, I think that definitely says something about a team and sort of the administration that's running it. They're just passing the Zamboni along here at Century Arena right now as we get ready for the Twins and the Canucks. Twins won 3 of their last 5 games. Like you said, they're coming off a win. It's a winning streak, almost a perennial winning streak for the St. James Canucks. Just crazy how it's been the last few years. I'm not a shit to say, but luckily this isn't live.
Okay, we'll cut it, but we'll go say keys to the game for both teams. They're like players to watch.
So Graham, in terms of keys to the game, what would you like to see from the 2 clubs tonight?
Well, from the St. James Junior Canucks, continue to build those good habits heading into the playoffs. Of course, try to get to your 40th win, and by doing that, it's by, sticking to their game the way they played all season long, and they've had a lot of consistency, so they're no strangers to doing that. For the Twins, like I've talked about, alluded to, you got to fight, you got to battle, you can't give this team an inch, and you are down, you are undermanned, but you know how good of a hockey team you can be. You still got some good pieces in the lineup, like Gilberto. He's going to be such a reliable player in tonight. And, yeah, I think for this Twins team, if they're able to get pucks in deep, make it tough for the St. James Canucks to transition and be opportunistic, too, while getting good saves from their goaltender. They're going to need the all-around package tonight. Special teams are going to have to be buzzing as well. But as long as you build good habits yourself, fight, and give yourselves a good taste heading into the playoffs, win or lose this game, I think that's what the Twins should be looking to do in tonight's matchup.
Twins and Canucks face off in just a couple of minutes. Be right back with the start of the game. Canucks and Twins at Century Arena. Graham Sevier, Graham Forsyth on G-Show Productions. Thank you very much for watching here on YouTube. And just about to get underway. Face-off won by St. James. And here's Rory Neal over the blue line for the Canucks. Fires a quick shot. A lot of speed from him. Centering pass goes into the corner. Lots of momentum right out of the gate here for the Canucks. Here is Neal at the blue line. Poked away, and it'll be cleared out to center. But Neal is right back on it for the Canucks. Drive it in deep. Goes off the stick of goaltender Carson Fisher into the corner. Fisher with one game this year. Let in 4 goals in the one game. Got a victory. Made a save there, and a rebound carried back in the other direction by Porter Holland. An extra player today in the game for the Twins. Canucks will ice it here, Graham, in the opening minute of period number 1. What did you think of the first few seconds?
Well, we get an early look of Carson Fisher. Not a bad job controlling the rebounds there. And we also get an early look at Rory Neal. And I didn't ask him in an interview coming up his type of playing style, but I'm assuming he's just an all-around stud. And we see it there offensively. The head fakes, the aggressiveness, driving wide, the skating. On full display early on from Rory Neal from the Canucks.
Now here's Haig trying to get the puck out for the Canucks. Can't get it outside the blue line. Driven in deep there by Matt Lazat into the near corner. And they'll battle away for it down low. So now the puck comes up the boards to the blue line. Shot from the line there by Belshaw. Stopped by the goaltender. It's 2 number 1s on the roster for the Canucks. As now they'll battle for the puck in front of the St. James bench. Comes down the boards. Now Belshaw in front looking for a centering feed. Comes around into the right circle. Good stick handling on the right side there by Declan Bowden. Now they bump in the corner, and it'll be carried back in the other direction there by the captain, Cale Price. 2-on-2 over the blue line. Price is going to the net and trying to make his way through with the puck. There was Ashton Romaniuk, but he couldn't get through. Romaniuk in the neutral zone. Up the right wing side, and he'll bring it into the zone. Watched by Flood. Backhand pass the front of the net. A shot by Price, and a save made there by the goaltender, Carson Fisher.
Carson Fisher has been busy early on. He's had to make some good saves. That one in close. But Jacob Flood, want to highlight him. He had a good stick on both of those plays there to disrupt the play twice. Look for him to be a key on Fort Garry's blue line in this game.
Glove save there on Rory Neal. Another face-off in the Twin zone. The goalie tonight for the Canucks is Liam Johnson, who's got a record of 10-3-1 on the year, a GAA of 341. And a save percentage of .869. Face-off will be to the right of goaltender Carson Fisher. Controlled here by St. James. Rolled in behind the net. Cale Price battling for the puck in behind the goal. Carries on his backhand to the front, and a pad save is made. Rebound. And we'll get a whistle. As Ethan Robson was about to let that go, but they're going to give a whistle to the goaltender Carson Fisher. Going to face off in the Twins' end.
I I didn't quite catch who it was, but in tight there, a good chance for St. James. They just don't get it up, and a pad save made there by Carson Fisher. Gets turned aside, and the net comes off the pegs.
Yeah, okay, well, the shot was point blank. And then the net nudged off the pegs there as it'll be driven in deep there by the Twins. Battle for the puck in the near corner. And it rolls in behind the net, and Liam England will clear down the ice. Going back there is Medwick, and he'll play it up the right side. Cleared along by Kai Parker, and the puck will deflect out to center off of Nathan Cockle. Now the puck back in the Twin zone, and that'll be 2 or less to Kai Parker.
Was Zach Greenwood drawing the penalty in on the forecheck, and Kai Parker stick in the wrong place, ends up tripping him, and we'll see the best power play in the league for the St. James Junior Canucks, operating at 30.6% heading into this final game. Go to work with a lot of talent on it, Graham.
Looked a little more like a tackle there. So 2-minute power play for the Canucks, top power play in the league. Gilberto winds up with the puck, couldn't get a clear, and then some friendly fire there from 2 Canucks players, and Twins get it out on the penalty kill. Power play for the Canucks, like I said, first in the league at 30.6%.
And we'll also see this Twins PK, which ranks first in the league at 84.8% go to work. So best PK versus best PP here.
Now at the blue line, here's Rory Neal. Getting it back to him there is Tyrone Willen. Neal gets it over on the near side to Ethan Robson. Who had a good scoring chance when the net was knocked off. And the Twins will get a clear there from Hedlund. Now back in the neutral zone there is a good play on the forecheck to poke the puck free, and a shot goes off the post from Nick Gilberto. Now back in comes Neal down the right wing side into the corner, centering, and a backhand is wide there from Tyrone Willen. Battle for the puck on the far side. They'll get it to the line, but not out. Keeping it in on left wing there for the Canucks is Ethan Robson. And now it comes out to Willen. Robson on the left side. Back out to Willen at the blue line. 46 seconds left in the penalty. Here's Neal, right circle, a wrist shot wide of the net. Puck caroms out of the corner, and Ethan Robson gets it over to Neal on right wing. Back at the blue line. Neal makes his way toward the middle. Pass to the middle. It goes for Price and over to Robson on the outside. At the line for Neal. Wrist shot goes off of Sloan Tremblay, and the bouncing puck on the near side. Price is there. Voth lifts his stick, and then Sloan Tremblay clears it off the glass and down the ice.
And a kill so far where Fort Garry hasn't allowed any high danger shots really, except for maybe one. A nice play earlier on in that sequence by Nick Gilberto with the stick, forcing the turnover and bringing it off the post.
Wrist shot from the outside. That one goes wide and off the outside of the net. Penalty expiring. Battle for the puck on the near side in the Twin zone. And the puck comes off of Romaniuk, and skating it back the other way are the Twins. Up the right side is David Belshaw. Clears it in from the red line. Phillips going back there for the Canucks. Out of the net to play it there is the goaltender Liam Johnson. And they'll get it along the far side and out. Skating the puck to center is Ashton Romaniuk over the blue line, left side. A wrist shot from the face-off circle. Save made there by Fisher. And here come the Twins the other way. Belshaw to Klimchuk. He'll come to center and gain the line. Offside is a couple steps ahead on the right wing there was Declan Bowden. And some more line changes for both clubs. Pretty good pace given all the players who normally play or not in the lineup here for Fort Garry.
Yeah, the Twins are floating above water right now, Graham. They're getting the stops from their goaltenders. They're getting successful zone exits, and they're even getting some chances offensively on Liam Johnson here in this period. So for a team that's heavily undermanned with a lot of key players out, good start here for Fort Garry with 14-16 remaining.
A shot from Gibson and a save made there by Johnson. Puck comes out of the corner. They try to skate it out. Good turnover forced, and a shot there is wide from Gibson. Some rough stuff we saw in the center ice area, and then a big hit down in the Twin zone. So even though, as we mentioned, the game doesn't actually mean anything in terms of the standings, tone is definitely being set in this one. Blocker save there from Johnson.
Yeah,
now they'll battle for the puck in the corner. Fort Garry, of all the teams we've seen in the MMJHL, I think they have the rowdiest bench, Graham.
Yeah, I think so. They get really fired up when a hit is made. We heard it. Not
Another one.
Go, and there's another one.
And that's going to get a call. Kai Parker again for the second time. And to me, from what the angle I saw, that looked pretty clean. That looked like a shoulder to the chest, but maybe they're saying it was a bit high.
Yeah, they like to call the high hits as penalties a lot more so today than when we were growing up. I know you're 3 years older than me, but even when I was growing up, the high hits weren't called as much. They were as I got older and to where I aged out. And yeah, the power play.
I couldn't catch any sign from the referee. But once again, that power play will set up. It's 0 for 1. And now here's Tyrone Willen out high on the left. Over to Neal on a saucer pass. Good feed in for Robson. He'll close in, shoot and miss. Rebound off the back wall. Tyrone Willen was there, couldn't get a shot away. Neal, wrist shot, glove save there by the goaltender Carson Fisher. We'll get another face off in the Twin zone. Almost 30 seconds gone by in the penalty. We'll get a face off over to Fisher's left.
Kai Parker taking his second penalty of the game, like you mentioned, but we're seeing just how quick the passing is, how crisp it is, and accurate from St. James in bunches here on the power play early on, and they're creating some chances with that passing.
Pat Powers, the head coach of the Twins, was talking before the game about how a lot of the guys grew up playing hockey together on the Twins, growing up in Fort Garry and Fort Rouge, and I would not be surprised one bit if it was the same for the Canucks, just the way their passing game is. Another clear here for Fort Garry, and Neal will go back for it. Definitely the quarterback of these Canucks power plays. Here's Robson over the blue line. Hauling it on his backhand all the way up to the corner. Watched there by Voth. Sends it along. There's Cale Price. Trying to get some room. Now Price brings it right up high. Sauces it across. Lobbed in deep there by Neal. And now Voth goes into the corner. Puck comes free. Here's Tyrone Willen. Banks it back out to the line. Neal takes a look. Wrist shot. Blocker save there by Fisher. And the puck comes into the corner on the near side now. 30 seconds left in the penalty. And Tyrone Willen goes to get it on the left side. Banks it back out for Neal. And across for Robson. Watched by Gibson. And he'll backhand it in behind the Twins' net. Greenwood is there for St. James. Over to Robson. Cross it goes for Neal. Takes on a hop off the boards. Tremblay pursues him. The pass comes in for Price. Good stick there from Voth. Clearing attempt goes to the line, but no further. Here's Neal to the left circle. Wrist shot and a save again there by the goaltender Fisher. Big clear. And coming right off the bench and seeing the puck pass right in front of him was Ethan Mariano, but he couldn't get a stick on it.
Really good penalty kill there from the Twins. We saw St. James. They were making a lot of passes, but a lot of that was to the outside. And once again, not many shots generated on the St. James power play.
They clear it off the glass to the Twins, out to center. Offside at the line. The Canucks will touch up and bring it back in. Good defensive play there by Flood, and away goes Klimchuk up to the St. James blue line. And a deflection, the puck goes up out of play. As the game goes on and you see the different line combinations that the Canucks are playing, it just really stands out to me at least how deep they are. Like I said, 6 guys on the team are a point per game or better. And a couple guys are very close to it.
Yeah, and Blair Mooney alluded to it. They got their top end guys and then they got depth guys. He spoke about Robson as a guy that is a handful to deal with along the boards and such a hard worker. He put the puck in the back of the net. Lots of 20-goal scorers on that team. And, of course, the leading goal scorer is the defenseman, 49 goals from Rory Neal.
Now in his own zone is Troy Borthistle. Will get the puck to center. And coming up the right wing here is Lane Richardson. A shot and a save made there by Fisher. He'll hang on again. He's had a good one so far in the first period.
Yeah, and that shot was square on him, so it was an easier save for him. But good position from him, tracking the shooter as he's coming down, looking at his eyes, I assume, from the goalie's point of view, and being able to be positionally sound to make that save.
And he looks confident, too. A couple of big glove saves. He is ready for the moment as Livingstone plays it round behind his own net. On it on the far side is Kai Parker, and he'll clear it down the ice, icing against the Twins. And we'll get another face-off in their zone. No score here in the first period. 10-10 left on the clock here on G-Show Productions. And a face-off will be to the blocker side of Carson Fisher. Lizotte on the draw. The puck goes right into the wall. And they'll battle for it in open ice. Lizotte pokes it forward to center. And Belshaw will advance it into the Canucks zone. Englund plays it right back out of there. Livingstone for the Twins in the neutral zone. Banks it right back in. And on it back in the defensive zone is Aiden Bruce. At the line. Livingstone shot, missed the net. DeQuan Bowden plays it back down the wall. Richardson's there. Hits his man, Lizotte, into the boards, and a battle for the puck along the wall, and I think we're going to get another call. That'll be interference, and it'll be on Matt Lizotte.
Yeah.
So for the third time in the game, it'll be a power play for the Canucks. The Twins bench not happy. Pat Power still talking to the referees. And so now we'll get a face-off in the Fort Garry zone.
Power is still talking. Some words we cannot repeat, but the best PK in the league going to work once again. And here's Nick Alberto. He has a chance.
Got a breakaway. A shot off the post. And it's still a scoreless tie here at Century Arena. Draw pass. Goes nowhere. Sloan Tremblay lifts it down the ice. That would have been huge for the Twins.
Well, I talk about how he had to be a difference maker in this game, and he almost has been a couple times. 2 posts for Gilberto in this period alone.
He blew right by Jacob Phillips. I don't think Phillips was expecting that at all. Here's Rory Neal on the right side. Back to the blue line for Borthistle. Over on the left it goes. A wrist shot. I think that went straight over the glass. I'm not even sure if that was deflected, but it was from Ashton Romaniuk. And we'll get a face-off in the Twin zone. 1:16 left in the power play.
And you know what? I think, like, the Twins, they're frustrated being on the penalty kill, right? But having that confidence, you can rely on your PK to get it done. Killing off 2 penalties so far is huge. So if they get this third one, this is huge for the Twins. A huge win for them in this period.
Face-off won here by the Canucks. Comes over to Ethan Robson on the right side. Gets it back to Neal at the blue line. Over to Tyrone Willen. Neal and Willen, both first-team All-Stars this year in the MMJHL. Willen's pass to the side of the net. Got it back, and it deflects into the corner. And now it comes over for Price. Hit by Gibson, but he manages to get it back to Neal. Over to Robson on the right. 48 seconds left in the penalty. Neal gets away from Gibson. Fan on the wrist shot, and Gibson plays it up ahead. And he gets by Neal. A race for the puck into the St. James zone. But getting back there is Cale Price, and he swats it away. League pass for Greenwood. He's got a breakaway. Backhand over top of the net. And now they battle for it behind the goal. They tried to skate it through the middle. Getting in the way, that was Neal. They put it wide of the net. Cleared out of the corner to the line, but not out. Now it'll be played down the boards to Price in the left corner, watched by Kai Parker. Price dives to keep St. James possession, get it back to the line. Comes over to Neal. Back into the middle is Robson. For Price, the captain spins away from Kai Parker, who's taken 2 of the 3 Fort Garry penalties. The puck comes to the front of the net and thrown into the corner there by Willen. Willen, a shot. That one didn't get through. They'll clear it back to center, back to 5-on-5, and here's Jeremy Klimchuk hustling up for the puck, 1-on-1 into the zone. Klimchuk tried a backhand pass. That one was blocked. Keeping good positioning there was Tyler Sawchuk. Now Sawchuk down the middle into the zone. Gets hit, fires it wide of the net, and now controlling and bringing it round behind his own goal there for the Twins is Caden Hedlund. Clears it up the far side, deflected in deep to the Twins, and out of the net to play it there is the goaltender Liam Johnson. They get it up to, over the glass, on its way out to center, looking for Caden Osterman. And we'll get a face-off in the St. James zone to the left of Liam Johnson.
Once again, this Fort Garry Twins team getting a good penalty kill, but in the same sense, is this St. James team fast, man. They attack with pace. We saw it on the puck recovery as well when I believe it was Gibson who got by Neal initially, and then two other St. James guys there to retrieve the puck. Just so much pace presented by them, but Fort Garry once again with success on that penalty kill, shutting them down.
Con Bowden goes to the boards to get the puck for the Twins. Tried to get it out on the far side past the defender. Couldn't do it. They'll throw it right back in. Going to get it in the corner is Hunter Livingstone. Up ahead for Jeremy Klimchuk. Hit by Richardson. They battle just inside the Twins blue line. Comes back to Livingstone. 6:20 to go here in the first period. No score. In a game where both teams have had a breakaway. But a couple of good goalie performances by two guys who are not the usual starters. And a shot there from Caden Hedlund will deflect out of play.
Yeah,
Fakes off in the Canucks zone.
Coach Mooney deciding to give his starter the day off on the season finale, and Noah Gilbert and Bridge Hayden being sat in this one, sitting out in this one for Fort Garry. He'll be huge for them come playoff time in the first round.
They were trying to spring Tyrone Willen on a breakaway. Pass misses, and that'll go down for Isa and get a face-off in the St. James zone. And the right face-off circle. So it'll be Lizotte taking the draw. Out there with Ethan Mariano and Nathan Cockle. They get it to center, do the Canucks. Kai Parker shoots it right back in. And now it'll be cleared out by St. James up the right wing side. Coming up for it there is Bradley Whiteley. Tried to center it. The puck goes all the way out to the line and deflects to center. Lizotte coming up for it on left wing. It's turned over, and now Tyrone Willen at his own line. Up ahead for Haight, over the line right side. Haight down the right wing side into the corner. Tried to center it. The puck deflects, and Lizotte got it to Cockle. It bounces right back to him, and he'll play it in to the St. James zone. From below his own goal line, here is Aiden Bruce. Gets the puck to center. Haight comes up for it with speed on left wing. Good defensive play to poke it away there by Hedlund. And now the puck in the St. James zone. Just over 5 minutes to go here in the first period. And David Balshaw knocks his man down. That's going to be another penalty.
The fourth one of this opening period with 5:04 remaining. And, you know, you got a good penalty kill if you're Fort Garry, but you got to play with more discipline. You're going up against the best power play.
It's actually Matthew Mason Vandell.
Oh.
Pardon me, I thought that was Balshaw. He did make a hit on the play, but maybe they might be getting him on the retaliation. I'm not sure.
Wow.
There was a bit of a crowd afterwards, but in any case, it will be the first power play of the game for the Twins.
Well, we stand corrected here, Graham. Too many men penalty.
Okay, well, there you go. It was right in front of that bench, the Canucks bench. So they'll battle for the puck in the near corner. Coming around behind the net there is Gibson. Gets it back out toward the blue line. Lizotte to Flood up high. His pass is knocked down, and it'll be cleared all the way down the ice. A good play there by Zach Greenwood. 35 points this year in 42 games.
Fort Garry with the second best power play in the league, going up against the third best penalty kill in the league for St. James. So
Belshaw across for Lizotte. Tried to get it to the front of the net. The shot goes wide.
what a look there for Fort Garry. He just had to tap it in.
Flood of the blue line. Throws it towards the net, and it just came out there on Flood. And so the faceoff will come outside after the offside with 1:05 left to go in the penalty to Matthew Mason Vandell.
Nice puck movement there from Fort Garry on this power play, and it looked like it was just a tap in they needed to make this one goal game, but they miss on it. But yeah, on both sides for these teams, both having terrific years on the power play and penalty side of things.
Centering feed goes off a stick into the corner, and battling for it there for Fort Garry is Nick Alberto. Down low, that's Declan Bowden. Passed it back for Tremblay. It's just off the mark, and it'll go all the way down to the Fort Garry zone. And Tremblay goes back for it. It's set up for him there by Carson Fisher. Now Tremblay takes it through the middle. Over to Hedlund on the right side. Hedlund comes across the blue line. Good play to get around his man. Shoots it wide of the net. That was Liam England, the defender there for the Canucks. Now here's Hedlund on the near side, gets it across, and it comes back over for Tremblay. Banks it back down for Gilberto. Tremblay at the blue line. Over on the near side it goes. Hedlund back to Tremblay and for Gilberto. The pass goes off a stick back to center. Only 9 seconds left in the penalty. Now Tremblay with a pass to center. Goes off of Gilberto into the zone. It's skated right back the other way and clear down the ice. Robson up for it there on right wing for the Canucks. It's poked at. It's in his feet. They battle for it. There are 3 Twins in there. And Cale Price gets a stick in there. Comes free on the near side. Phillips pinching in from the blue line. Down for Cale Price in the near corner. Gets hit by Voth. Throws it back up the wall. And here's Phillips. A wrist shot. Deflects. Doesn't get through. And Declan Bowden will skate it back the other way. Stops up looking for room. Gets shoved. The puck comes free for Price and he shoots it back in. Parker back on it behind the net to his partner Voth. Not a lot of room. Chips it back for Kai Parker behind the net. Price was on him, but Voth will be able to send it up the left side, and Nathan Cockle will move it to center. There's a hit on Mariano, and he'll stumble afterwards. He dropped his stick, and now some pushing and shoving as Cockle went after Price after that. Mariano now just getting up. Lizotte and Voth come over to make sure he's doing all right, but he's pretty slow heading over to the bench, and that'll be a rough.
I'll have to look at that on replay afterwards, Graham, but it did not look good initially. A St. James Junior Canucks player is getting tossed from this game, and just to take
that's
a look
Cale
at who
Price.
it is.
That's the captain.
And that is Captain Cale Price getting tossed from this game, and yeah, it didn't look good. He came through and caught his head, and that's a no-go in the MMJHL in many leagues, and he's done for the game. Their captain, one of their best players overall and up front, with a 5-minute penalty in a match.
Mariano is sat down on the bench right now. He's getting some attention.
Well, it's bad too because you see him initially, he stumbles, and that's never
Yeah.
a good sign.
No, and that's scary. So we hope he'll be all right as the Twins will set up in the Canucks zone. His shot was stopped there by Johnson. It'll be a 5-minute penalty also assessed. So a big long power play here for the Twins, trying to break the scoreless tie against the top team in the league. Pass from Lizotte comes out of the zone, so Flood has to backpedal at center for David Belshaw. Makes a move around Boar Thistle, and now the puck goes into the near corner. They'll battle for it down there as the Twins try to maintain possession of the power play. Comes back for Flood. A wrist shot, and that one goes wide. A drive from the outside. Didn't get through. And here with the puck is Hedlund. Back to Flood. It'll be thrown around behind the net. Cleared all the way down the ice here by Aiden Bruce. Back to center is Flood over the blue line. Winds up, fires a slap shot, and a save made there by Liam Johnson.
And Flood putting an emphasis on shooting the puck. Fort Garry, like we saw on the scoreboard, and like you mentioned, had 5 minutes to work with. They're now down to 4:02. 1:19 left in this period. They need shots to the net and traffic as well. Take away the eyes of Liam Johnson.
Sloan Tremblay, slap shot and a save there by Liam Johnson. Comes back out for Tremblay. Gilberto to Tremblay, wrist shot. And that'll deflect off Jeremy Klimchuk and out of play.
Exactly what I'm talking about. Get some traffic around him. Maybe it wasn't taking away the eyes, but you get a deflection there. Yes, it goes out of play. Yes, the face-off will be out of the zone, but more like that, you get some good puck luck. Some of those may fall for you.
Declan Bowden will lean in for the face-off against Trent Thorstensen. Cleared all the way down the ice. Hedlund back in behind his own net for the Twins. Final minute here in the first period. 3.5 to go in the Fort Garry power play. Now here's a wrist shot there by Gilberto. And some pushing and shoving after the play. I'm not sure who that was in a blue jersey who got in there, but then lunging in emphatically is Liam England. And we got a whole pile of bodies in behind the St. James net. England is going to be brought out by a linesman. it looks like it was Trent Thorstenson.
Just to break down the situation, it'll be 39 seconds left on the clock, but Fort Garry getting into the zone. I believe it was number 15 in Declan Bowden who leaves the puck. A little draw pass for Gilberto. This time he doesn't hit iron. He just gets stopped by Liam Johnson, who makes a better save on the shot that Gilberto has. And then after that, we see the rowdy stuff happening. It gets chippy here at the end of the period, it seems like, in most of these games. And we'll be seeing 2 St. James guys, 3 St. James guys in the penalty box.
Yeah, that's England and Thorstenson who are going to sit down for St. James. And
the guy before serving the time for Cale Price.
Yeah.
And only one Fort Garry Twin going.
And then it'll be Declan Bowden sitting down for Fort Garry.
So Fort Garry is going to have 5 minutes and 22 seconds, I think, of hour play time left.
The clock doesn't actually show the rest of the 2, but I think you're right. And so
they'll burn off 39 seconds off the power play time here.
Yeah. 39 seconds left in the period. And so face-off will be right outside the blue line.
39 seconds. Take advantage of this opportunity here if you're Fort Garry. You got it.
On the entry, here's Sloan Tremblay to the middle. Pass over to the left wing side. It comes back out for Tremblay and over to Hedlund on the right side. 24 seconds. Wrist shot. Blocker save there by Johnson. The puck caroms around the glass. Hustling over there is Tremblay to keep the puck in. Pass comes out for Caden Hedlund on the right side. Tremblay at the blue line. Tremblay takes a look, feeds Hedlund in the slot. The pass goes off a stick into the corner. Controlled there by Gilberto. Back to Tremblay. Had to go over his stick. Fires toward the net with only 2 seconds left. They bat at the rebound. That was Belshaw. Save made there by Johnson, and there goes the horn. 20 minutes gone by here at Century Arena. And in a game where our penalty sheet, I'm just waiting for it to update here. That's going to be littered with details. There's a couple early penalties for the Twins. Graham, I think you have it here.
Yes, I do. So it's been 3 Twins penalties, 2 Canucks penalties, and then adding on the other one, so 3 Canucks penalties. But it's Kai Parker took the first 2, the first one an interference, the second a cross-check. Matthew Lizotte with the 3rd Twins penalty for interference. Then too many men, number 25, Matthew Mason Vandell serving that. Cale Price with major for a high hit, plus a game misconduct. And and then the rough stuff at the end there going into penalties, giving Fort Garry more time on the man advantage. So we'll get an update on who got those penalties exactly when we come back here. But overall, a period where I think you got to be happy if you're Fort Garry outside of taking, the penalties like they did. They were able to kill them off. Good penalty kill on every one. Carson Fisher has looked really good on net, and we've seen Nick Gilberto having his chances, which you love to see him buzzing and motoring today, especially with his 2 line mates out. And I think for one thing, especially in these next few minutes for Fort Garry, is shoot more on the power play. You're working around the puck well at some points. They've missed on some passes, but more shots, more traffic, good things will happen.
Yeah, no, just a good effort overall. And again, a lot of guys not playing in the game who are regulars for the Twins, and they've definitely looked like they can compete with a really good hockey club who's playing all of them. They got a few first-team All-Stars, Tyrone Woolen, Rory Neal, and then second-team All-Stars, Cale Price and Brady Whiteley and Noah Gilbert. So we will see what happens in the second period.
Yeah, and just adding on one more thing, then we're going to throw it to a little break. We're going to show an interview with Rory Neal coming up. But with the amount of guys Fort Garry has out, it's huge to see them giving a spirited effort so far. Not sitting back, not backing down against this very talented, very stacked St. James team that's playing all their top guys except for their top goaltender. They'll be without their captain for the rest of the game. But yeah, a team looking for 40 wins, and Fort Garry looking for a final win this season. We are going to throw it to an interview that I did myself, Graham the G Show Forsyth, with number 4 superstar defenseman and tied for the lead in points and leader in goals in the MMJHL, and Rory Neal for the St. James Junior Canucks. You're watching Twins hockey here, Fort Garry Twins hockey on G Show Productions. We'll be back with some content coming up.
Rory, you're only 19 years old. You're tearing up the MMJHL this season. I spoke to your coach, Blair Mooney, and he said that the season you're having, it's something that the league really hasn't seen before. Talk about how you've been able to take your game to the next level this year, putting up 89 points so far in 42 games played compared to last year where you put up 64 in the 43 games played.
Yeah, it's been a good year this year. Our team has produced a ton of goals this year. We've got a lot of offensive weapons and brought back a good chunk of our core from last year. So I think just having some familiarity with, some D partners, some guys on the power play, some more experience with those guys has allowed me to take my game to another level and find some new success this year.
Blair Mooney talked about how once this group got the experience of winning, you guys want to fill that experience. Again, basically just paraphrasing him. Talk about, what that truly is like, tasting that experience of winning a championship last year and wanting to go out and do it again.
Yeah, absolutely. I think in sports, for sure, that's an addicting feeling. And once you feel it once, especially with a good group of guys and a guys you're kind of with again, it's definitely something you're chasing, and I think we know we have the group that's capable of doing it again since we did it last year and we got a good chunk of the same guys back. So we're definitely hungry and everyone wants to repeat, so that's definitely been the goal all season long.
Your coach talked about how you're a guy that likes to have fun out there. Obviously you fit in with this group in St. James very well. Talk about, in your experience so far throughout these 2 years at this point, how you've been able to fit in with this group.
That's awesome. It's a lot of the guys, especially the O2 group. I grew up playing with pretty much all of these guys growing up. I was playing with the year older when I was younger. So I'd say the majority of our core is the O2s this year. And I knew a lot of these guys, some of my best friends growing up. So coming back from Calgary and coming home here and playing was pretty cool because I got to kind of reconnect and rebuild on some of those friendships that I not had lost, but it definitely drifted from slightly, just living away from home and such. So it's been an awesome experience just playing with some of my best friends and stuff and getting to relive some of those friendships again.
Yeah, and this time being able to make new experiences playing at the junior hockey level. Back then, did you ever envision yourself playing with the boys you're playing with at this point in your life?
Yeah, I don't know. I think when I was younger, it was always just, try to take it as far as you could. And now we're kind of at the point where, we've had some success in my career and just kind of playing for fun, going to school and get to play with some of my best friends. And I honestly wouldn't trade it for the world right now.
Yeah, and it's you bringing that up, wanting to take it as far as possible. You were on your way to doing that in a way by going to the WHL, playing for the Calgary Hitmen. Obviously, coming back to Manitoba and Winnipeg, you've had a chance to be called up and playing with the Portage Terriers, but you made St. James your team. Just talk about what went into that decision to, in your experience of stepping away from the WHL and coming back home to play, making that decision.
Yeah, obviously it's a tough decision, and Calgary was an awesome place to live. I had an awesome billet family. The organization was top notch, and honestly couldn't have asked for anything better. I think just for me, it kind of came down to wanting to go to university. I'm a full-time student at University of Manitoba now, and so coming home and being here allows me to do that full-time, whereas being out there, I wouldn't have been able to do that. And I think for me, it's just about, having fun and loving the game, and I think you kind of lose sight of that sometimes. For me personally, I think everyone's different, but being out there and obviously the ultra competitiveness, the super long days, and it gets repetitive at times. And it's definitely the route to go if you want to make it somewhere. But I think for me, it was just about kind of finding that love for the game again. And I think the best way to do that for me was just coming home and being with some of my best friends and being able to compete with them night in and night out and kind of live at home.
You're 19 years old now, Rory. You were younger last year. You come into this team that was building, going back to that first moment where you guys won the championship, being a part of that in your first season with this team, how truly special that was.
Yeah, that was awesome. Last year was honestly one of the tightest groups of guys on a hockey team I've ever played with. We were all so tight knit, and honestly we are this year too, but especially last year it was a group that, like, I think, years down the road we'll always, talk about and reconnect with, and just such a tight group. So, winning those things and being a part of a championship team, especially with the group of guys that you love that much and you're that close with, is definitely even a better feeling than just kind of doing it on your own. So it was a pretty cool experience.
Playing some amazing hockey right now, 9-1 in your guys' last 10, coming off a 6-3 win last night against the Raiders Junior Hockey Club. Last home game of the season, playing your last season game of the year, regular season, on the road. You guys have had success against Fort Garry all year. One close game at 7-5, but for the most part, you guys have handled them fairly easily, only giving up 7 goals against them in total in the 4 matchups combined. But a team that obviously brings some challenges with their top end talent, with their goaltending, and a team that's going to be hungry to come out and beat you guys. It's going to be the mindset from a player standpoint heading into this one.
Yeah, I think, obviously this time of year, you kind of take a peek at the standings, know where your playoffs stand. And that's definitely a team that we very likely could see in the second round based on the seeding. So I think tomorrow's a big one for us, knowing that that could be a team that we're going to have a bit of a rivalry with coming up here. So I think just coming out, working hard, knowing we have had some success against them this season, and just kind of trying to repeat the things that we've already done, obviously, and just kind of set the tone and, try to leave a dirty taste in their mouth that it's going to be a tough series if they do end up matching up against us.
Back at Century Arena, Twins, Canucks, no score through 20 minutes of play. Whole bunch of penalties, Graham.
Yeah, a whole lot of penalties in that first period. There's currently 3 St. James Junior Canucks in the box. Some extracurriculars happen. After a whistle there late in the period, after a stoppage and play cover up by Liam Johnson, and just taking a look at the penalties, just to reiterate it for you guys. 3 for the Twins to start off, 2 of them, the first 2 going to Kai Parker, 1 for interference, 1 for a cross check. The third one and the final one so far, well, the final one in that first period for the Twins, to number 19 Matthew Lazat for an interference. Matthew Mason Mandel, number 25 for the Canucks, serving a penalty for too many men. Cale Price, the captain, just to let you guys know once again that he is out for the rest of the game. Game misconduct for a high hit. Currently, a player serving his minor penalty, not too sure who it is, but it's his major actually at 5 minutes. And then, that 2 minutes afterwards for what happened after the whistle, of course. So that's a long breakdown of what happened for the penalties in that period, Graham.
And then, besides what's just on the score sheet, Zach Greenwood had a breakaway for St. James, and then also one for the Twins. Both teams having a breakaway, having some good chances at the net. 2 backup goalies, or I should say goalies who don't perform regularly, or as regularly as the starters usually do. And they've both been pretty solid on the times that they've had to make some big plays. And there's Liam Johnson, the goalie for the Canucks, clearing it along the boards on a big, long power play here for the Twins for 5-on-3 for another minute. As now on the right side here is Medwick. Gets it back from Sloan Tremblay. Medwick on the right side. Tremblay on the left. Wrist shot. Deflects on net. Scramble in the front of the net. Right there was Gilberto. And they'll clear it out to center.
Fort Garry just could not get a clean shot. I don't think that's what Gilberto wanted on the first one. He couldn't get a clean shot afterwards. Nice shot there by Tremblay. Nice save by Johnson. But Fort Garry, they got to shoot more here on this power play, especially with the amount of time that they do have to take advantage.
Gilberto out of the corner for Tremblay. Over on the left it goes. A one-timer from Belshaw. Deflects out of play. 5-on-3 for about another 20 seconds. And we'll get a new power play unit out here and a new penalty killing unit as well. They're going to get Rory Neal out on the ice with Younger and Osterman. And the face-off, because it was deflected out of play off a Fort Garry player, face-off will be at the blue line. Graham, you were going to say something.
Yeah, the one-timer there from Belshaw, exactly what Fort Garry was looking for on the right side, the side closest to us with Darian Medwick.
Gibson a pass in front of the net to Klimchuk. It deflects into the corner. And keeping it alive there is Porter Holland. At the line it comes. Holland, a shot, again, deflects away, and it'll be moved up the right side. Not out. One penalty is over. 5-on-4 for another minute 12, but Rory Neal will skate it forward. He gets shoved there by Flood. The two tie up at the blue line. Flood had his stick caught between Rory Neal's feet, and now Gibson brings it back in for the Twins. Around it goes for Flood. Back to Gibson behind the net. Gibson takes a look, banks it along the boards. Jacob Flood at the left point. Over to Hedlund. A wrist shot that went off a man. Hedlund for Klimchuk behind the net. Englund shoves him. And getting down to keep it alive for the Twins there is Cockle. Along it goes for Flood on the left side. Down for Klimchuk. 35 seconds left in the 5-on-4. Gibson on the right wing. Into the circle. The shot save made there by the goaltender Johnson. And they'll tie up in behind the net. Canucks are fine to just keep it along the boards and let the seconds tick away. The puck finally comes free, but then it'll be cleared high and out on a backhand by Cole Younger.
That'll pretty much be the end of the Twins power play here unless they get one more shot off the rush, which they won't have enough time here. But yeah, the shots that they were getting aside from that quick one-timer by Balshaw that we saw with the stops in play ensuing after it, they really didn't get much high-danger chances, and I don't know if you could really call it a high-danger chance there from Balshaw, the shot he had at the same time. So a good penalty kill there from St. James, and one where Fort Garry couldn't take advantage of that a large amount of time they had on the power play.
That'll be icing there on the Twins. And just over 3 minutes gone by here in the third period. Second period, pardon me. Still no score. Got a face off to the left of Carson Fisher to his glove side.
And Carson Fisher has not played a game since October 18th, where he let in 4. They got the win against Pembina Valley, but still, it's been a while since he's played a game for this team.
Now here's Medwick at center. Plays it forward. Advancing it there was Gibson, but it's Rory Neal coming back up. Looking for goal number 50 on the year this year.
What an achievement that would be if a defenseman hits 50 goals. It's a milestone. It's special when a forward does it, but for a defenseman to do it, that would be something that I don't think I've seen, or if not very often.
Now the puck is in the slot. Controlled by Tyrone Willen. Backhands it down the boards and then gets absolutely obliterated by Darian Medwick. And in a game that's been pretty physical, with a few different situations where we've had some rough stuff. And the Canucks want a penalty, and now up against the boards on the near side.
Are we getting another penalty?
It's like I called it.
We might be getting 2 penalties coming here, Graham. I'm not sure if you saw it, but they already, Liam Johnson coming off for a delayed penalty already before what we just saw happen. And I'll be interested to see here, will it be 2 penalties coming to the Fort Garry Twins? Will it only be 1? We'll find out here shortly.
Things have calmed down as far as physical stuff, and it'll be David Balshaw who's being brought away, as well as Darian Medwick, who's still chirping away at the pile of blue players over here. Medwick, right before that, made a huge hit back at the opposite blue line. And so they'll go to the box. Hedlund's in the box. And I got 3 guys sitting down for Fort Garry. Hedlund lost his stick, and
Mason Vandal going to the box as well.
Yeah. For the second time today. He served the too many men on the ice penalty. And this will take a couple minutes to talk about it and just kind of get sorted out. Tyrone Willen is having a chat there with somebody in a Fort Garry jersey.
Yeah, and Kai Parker there alongside the ref.
Claude Bowden is in there to advocate for Fort Garry. Down there is Troy Warthistle for St. James.
So now we got Balshaw coming out of the box, and he's out of this game.
That's 2 guys, one on the other team, that have been ejected. Right now, there are 3 guys on the ice for Fort Garry. And so that might tell you something. There are 5 guys, though, for St. James.
So
But
we don't
like you
have
said,
the-
there is 1 man in the penalty box for the Canucks.
We don't have the best angle here, but obviously what happened down there, there was a lot of, well, let's say ruckus that ensued. Was it Balshaw who made the hit down there?
Might have been.
I believe it was.
Brad Power wants clarification. Mariano's going to step back in the penalty box. So 2 Fort Garry players in the box, 1 ejected, and 1 St. James player in the box. And the referees are still talking about it right in front of the Fort Garry bench. Face-off will come just outside the Fort Garry zone.
So, will be a
5-on-3 for a whole 2 minutes. As that's what's on the board right now. 2 2-minute penalties. Here's Robson with a pass over to Rory Neal. A big power play opportunity here for St. James. Robson over to Neal. One-timer save made there by Carson Fisher. Robson to Neal. Robson straight away. Side of the net. Centering pass, and that'll bounce away. So holding the steady so far is the penalty kill. And we're going to face off after the freeze. It'll be to the left of Carson Fisher. To the right, pardon me.
holding them scoreless here for the first 32 seconds, but this St. James power play with the extra man gone, 5-on-3, they got even more room to work and work the puck around while they can.
Centering pass, Neal the shot off the back glass. And for the second time in the game, the net's come off its moorings.
That was the second time in a row. Second time in a row this has happened, that the net has come off. And Carson Fisher, we've seen a bit of a strategy here, giving his team a bit of that rest any way he can by knocking the net off.
We'll get it clear, and that'll do that even more. Just over a minute to go here in the 5-on-3. With speed to center. Here's Rory Neal over the blue line. Neal into the left circle. Wrist shot wide of the net. Now the puck comes out to Romaniuk at the left point. Pass goes off the stick there of Kai Parker. And now here's Neal. To the front it goes. They'll leave it to Robson. To the side of the net for Cole Younger. A shot goes wide. That's not Cole Younger. That's Trent Thorsteinson. Pardon me. Now spinning there is Willen, trying to get away from Voth. They play it to the front of the net and they score. That looks like Tyrone Willen. Number 30 on the year for him. 1-0 St. James. Power play goal for the road team.
And I believe it was Tyrone.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tyrone Willen. Unbelievable play there by him. The skating, the spin move to protect the puck and get to the net. A strong drive there. And before that, St. James, beautiful work on the power play. Quick passes. They get a shot that misses the net beforehand.
And so 1-0 here in the second period. The puck is in behind the St. James net. They'll bring it to center. A pass comes ahead for Neal. Goes off his stick into the zone. Plays it in deep, and then losing his stick was Ethan Gibson. Twins want a penalty on Neal. They won't get one. Back to 5-on-5 as Mariano was out of the box. Onto the ice is Declan Bowden. Here's Haight behind the net. Had it pushed away. Cleared out and down the ice there by Gibson. Would have been icing, but winning the race down there is Declan Bowden. On the near side, they'll battle for the puck. Bowden, right at the blue line, throws it down the boards. It rolls around behind the net, and therefore it is Lane Richardson. Battle for the puck on the far side. They'll move it to the line. Klimchuk kept it in. And a steal. Tremblay shoots off the post, and the puck goes into the corner. And that'll go up out of play as Troy Borthistle tried to clear.
Well, we lost our train of thought for some unknown reason during that analysis. I wonder why. Only me and Graham know. But yeah, Fort Garry's looking to respond here with the goal coming up next. A nice shot on net by Tremblay that ends up ringing off iron, and Fort Garry a nice job of taking the puck away there. Tremblay stripping him and then taking it towards the net and shooting that one. Too bad he couldn't beat the post though.
I'll apologize. Lost of train of thought was on me. Here's Bowden, centers it. Scramble in front of the net, and a shot is stopped there by Liam Johnson. And I'm going to face off in the St. James zone. 1-0 Canucks, just under 13 minutes to go here in the second period. Tremblay and Bowden out on the ice. There with Porter Holland, who had that chance in tight just now. And then Livingstone and Hedlund at the blue line. No battle for the puck on the far boards off the face-off, and getting shoved down to the ice there is Caden Osterman. And Osterman kind of lands on Bowden. And it looks like Hunter Livingstone's going to be brought away. Caden Osterman will be escorted to the penalty box, Graham.
Declan Bowden not happy. He gives the 3 or 4 taps on the glass afterwards in response to what Osterman did. I guess landing on him, but his teammate coming through and cross-checking him after to help him out, but obviously adding to the pile already. The 4 is bearing down on him, but Osterman going to the box. We'll see Fort Garry go to the power play.
Clearing it out of the zone right off the draw is St. James. Fisher out of the net. Leaves it to Hedlund behind the goal, and they'll have 15 seconds come off because of that clear. Hedlund's pass. Porter Holland couldn't control it. Bowden in front of the Fort Garry bench, fighting for the puck. Tremblay moves it into the zone. Porter Holland moves it down the wall, but then it's smacked right out and down the ice there by Zach Greenwood. Hedlund behind his own net as the power play will break out. Tremblay ahead at center to Gilberto. Goes off his stick and into the zone. Unable to clear there with Zach Greenwood. And then on a second attempt, they'll do so. 50 seconds gone by in the penalty. They cleared all the way up to the opposition blue line. Gilberto moved it toward the net. It's paddled away there by Liam Johnson. Centering attempt, and a shot is wide. They'll try to get it to the front again. That bounces to the line just past Hedlund and out. And he'll have to go back for it. Hedlund out of his own zone. Couple of good chances on the power play.
And
Pass ahead for Lizotte, missed, and that'll be icing.
the bounces for Fort Garry, they're just not in their favor. Gilberto, they're able to get a shot on net to produce a rebound opportunity, but somehow, some way, Fort Garry not able to put it in. Livingstone not able to keep it in because it hops over his stick, and now drawing Fort Garry's end.
Flood behind his own net for Fort Garry. He'll skate it forward and bring it into the zone. Flood on the outside. Borthistle shoves him. The puck comes free. Keeps with it, and Flood all the way into the left circle. Flood got hit along the boards. Neal had it. Lost it in his feet. The puck comes to Gibson on the left side. He'll move it back up the boards to Flood to the blue line. As Fort Garry setting up. 15 seconds left in the penalty. Medwick sends it down to Lizotte in the right corner. He'll play it back to the line for Medwick. Medwick a wrist shot. Pad save there by Johnson. And Lizotte fires it toward the net. It bounces to the outside. Flood will float it from the blue line down into the corner. It'll be worked back to him. A shot didn't get through. Comes back to Lizotte. Lost the puck, and they almost had a good opportunity there. But bringing it in is Neal. A shot wide to the net. That was Tyler Sawchuk. I think he was trying to have a breakaway. He kind of stepped on the puck. And then a shot on net is stopped by Carson Fisher. We're going to face off in the Twin zone.
And the shot there by Neal catching Carson Fisher by surprise a bit. He was kind of late on his rebound reaction, but he gets bailed out by the quick whistle and break that could have been worse there for Fort Garry if St. James was able to execute properly coming out of the zone. That could have been bad.
Puck goes off the stick of Klimchuk to center. Liam England skates it up over the red line and shoots it back in. As now here's Romaniak, forces a turnover. Wrist shot, another save there by Carson Fisher, and he'll hang on.
We are back to even strength with 10:09 remaining in this second period. 1-0 game for the St. James Junior Canucks, but man, Tyrone Willen, we're seeing him and Rory Neal playing today, the two best players in the MMJHL based off of points, and the skill is evident.
It's thrown around behind the Twins net. Klimchuk couldn't catch up to it. Shot from the line goes wide there from Jacob Phillips. Now Gibson trying to get it outside the zone. He's stopped by Lane Richardson, and now the Twins will clear down the ice. It'll go right down on the net. Paddling it away there is Liam Johnson. Cleared out up to the right side there by Ethan Robson to center, and now Lane Richardson couldn't get past the blue line. It'll be swatted away to center. Waiting and bringing it back in there is Robson on left wing. Robson centers a shot. That one goes wide of the net, off the heel of the stick of Ashton Romaniuk. And now Bowden clears it to center. Comes forward into the St. James zone. Neal goes back on it, backhands it along the boards. Bowden is the first man on it there for Fort Garry. Into the corner. The pass goes back toward the blue line. That one didn't work, and it'll be a 3-on-1, but a pass goes off the stick of Neal to Caden Hedlund, and he'll be able to clear outside the zone. Robson brings it back in. He'll be stopped by Bowden, and the pass goes from Kai Parker out to center. Aiden Bruce, cross for Rory Neal. Moves it to center. Shot right back in by Kai Parker into the St. James zone. 1-0, the Canucks lead. Here's a breakaway pass, goes off of Osterman, and that'll be offside as Osterman was into the zone before the puck was. And that faceoff will go all the way back into the Canucks zone. They're saying
This is
just
Fort
a bit
Garry's
too
chance.
offside. Yeah.
Fort Garry's chance. It was 12-9 shots for St. James after the first period, and really for Fort Garry, I don't feel like they've had that many shots this period. They've had some good chances, but not many of them, so they got to take advantage of their zone time here, which is now gone, a 2-on-1 going the other way.
Here's Haight down the left side. Centering pass. They'll get it a handle on it. It comes to Neal in front, and a save is made there by the goaltender, Carson Fisher, and he'll hang on. In the rush there, too, was Caden Osterman.
Well, got a fight and fought there. Carson Fisher did. Able to defend off the battle in front of the net that he was facing, and he's been doing good. Like, only one game played in the league this year coming in, back in October. He's going up against a team loaded with talent in St. James, and I've been impressed with him so far today.
Willen a shot from the line. Osterman got a deflection and a save made there by Fisher. A pass is picked off and cleared out there by Fort Garry to center. It sits at the red line. It's poked forward by Willen, who has the game's only goal. Just under 8 minutes to go in the second period of a 1-0 hockey game. Shot in deep by Fort Garry. Back on it goes Borthistle behind his own net. Backhands it along the boards. It's knocked down there by Darian Medwick. They'll battle for the puck in the corner. Medwick on his backhand hauls it to the faceoff circle. The backhand shot didn't work, and now Phillips behind his own net. Moves it up the right side to Caden Osterman. Backhander goes off a stick. We get a whistle. Medwick, a little shove to Osterman after the fact. Medwick has been to the box this evening already, and he'll be shoved away by the linesman, away from Caden Osterman.
Yeah,
And he'll go to the bench.
The linesman may be going, hey, buddy, I don't know if I want to put you in the box again, so we're just going to split you up early here right away. Let's calm things down, but I think we're going to see the rough stuff continue on as this game goes along. We still got 7:33 left in the second. It's a tight game right now, 1-0.
As they'll battle for the puck along the near side. No, it's been spirited. It doesn't necessarily do anything in the standings this game, but it clearly means something to the players, and they're really putting on a show this afternoon. And at times it's been very heated. Klimchuk takes a hit in open ice. Bringing it in is Mariano. Backhander goes wide. Mariano took a dangerous looking hit And that resulted in the ejection of the captain, Cale Price. And we get a whistle here for icing on the Twins with 6:50 to go in the second. 1-0 St. James.
And number 19 there, Lazat. You could see it, the whistle blew. He still went towards the St. James Junior Canucks player and letting them know that they're going to be sticking around. They're going to be close by him to deliver that rough stuff and send a message all game.
Voth behind his net, moves it ahead, turnover, and they get it towards the goal. Shot by Ashton Romaniuk from in tight is stopped by Carson Fisher. In behind Fisher, it's moved by Eric Voth along the boards. They'll battle for it on the near side. Rory Neal is at the blue line, but skating out is Mariano to center. Over the blue line down the middle. It's swatted away from him. Mariano goes to get it, takes a tumble along the right wing boards. Lost the puck, and it'll be cleared back to center there by St. James. Gibson it past to Kai Parker, shoots it in. It goes off of Rory Neal. It'll bounce high in the air and in deep to the St. James zone. Comes along to Ashton Romaniuk. He'll let it go along the boards. Gibson was trying to chug down the right wing boards with the puck, but Neal starts back out to center. Across for Robson. Richardson goes to the net. The pass to him. He gets a shot, but it goes wide. Didn't get much wood on it. They fight for the puck in the near corner. Couple of body checks in there, but Robson goes toward the net, tried to center it. It's swatted away back into that corner. Comes out to Rory Neal on the left side. Cross for Aiden Bruce. Moves it down the boards. It's caught up in the feet of Romaniuk, who's on a 3-game point streak. And now back the other way. Here is a breakaway. Wrist shot. Blocker save. Great opportunity. Another shot by Flood. Another save there by Johnson. Breakaway was for Porter Holland, but Johnson making 2 huge saves to keep it a 1-0 lead, Graham.
And Porter Holland so close to opening up the scoring in this game. A nice save by Liam Johnson, but a beautiful pass sent over to Holland that sprung him on that breakaway chance. Fort Garry follows up with 2 more chances afterwards, but Liam Johnson, number 1, not having as much action this period is the last so far, getting more of it as this period comes to an end.
Mason Vandell, who just got out of the penalty box, brings it to the net, and a save is made there by the goaltender, Carson Fisher. Now Hedlund throws it round the end boards. England keeps it in on the near side. They'll throw it into the corner and battle for it. In there for St. James was Cole Younger, but now it'll be skated by Fort Garry to center. Hedlund gets it over on the left to Gilberto, and he'll shoot it in. Bowden is up for it on the right wing. Couple of St. James players battling in the corner. Comes out to Tremblay. Down it goes for Medwick. Good cross-ice pass for Hedlund. Tremblay at the point. It'll be cleared out down the ice. And now here comes Fort Garry. Couldn't get past center as it's shot in there by Cole Younger. 55 seconds left in the penalty to St. James. Off of Lizotte it goes and into the St. James zone. They'll get it back to center, and it'll be brought back in by Gibson over the blue line. Gibson trying to cut around his man. It's poked into the corner. Gibson goes for it on the right side, throws it down the wall, round to the far side, and getting there and trying to clear was Greenwood, and they'll get it out and down the ice.
Good effort there by Gibson, but I feel like without this top-end talent that Fort Garry is missing, this power play really is struggling because of it. It's just...
Wrist shot. That one goes up over top of the net from Nathan Cockle. Out it goes to the line for Gibson. A shot through traffic. It bounces into the corner. Lizotte is on it there. Down for Klimchuk. Penalty is over. Klimchuk spins into the left corner. Drops it back for Lizotte. The point man, Gibson's going off to the bench, so Lizotte has to keep the puck. He'll skate out high. Over to Flood. One-timer. Deflection. And it'll be cleared out and down the ice there by St. James. 3 minutes and 10 seconds to go here in the second period.
Yeah, and without you know, the top end talent of Halamandaris and Ostman, like those same guys aren't there, so it's been harder today, I feel like, for this team to transition in the power play into the zone and just in general, and not getting as many high quality chances because of it.
Neal cleared it down the ice, and that'll be icing. He was looking to spring Tyrone Willen, looking for his second goal of the game, but that'll come all the way back, Graham. 1-0 is the score here for St. James in the second period. Got a face-off to the left of the goaltender, Liam Johnson. And it'll be Medwick in the draw. He wins it, comes back to the line. Livingstone slap shot wide of the net. It sits back of the goal. Hedlund gets there, tried the wraparound. It's poked away. Livingston holds the blue line over to Parker. Parker rolls it right down through the slot. Comes out to Medwick, a shot. Try to move it towards the front of the net. It'll bounce around there, and it'll be cleared out off the stick of Willen back to center. Parker shoots it right back into the St. James zone, and Neal is back on it. Below his own goal line, watched there by Medwick. And he'll play it across, and Jacob Phillips clears to center. Now Parker in his own zone. Willen is on him. Comes ahead on the right side, and it'll be backhanded forward by Porter Holland. A drive from the right side, and it's saved by Johnson. The puck comes all the way out to center. Fort Garry will move it right back in. The fans here on our side, mostly cheering for St. James. One of too many men penalty. They won't get it, but now here's Romaniak into the zone. Centering pass and a shot. Stopped there by Carson Fisher. Now a lead pass, and here's a one-on-one into the zone. Gilberto trying to cut inside. He gets held up. His stick gets caught up there on Troy Borthistle's jersey. And now we're going to get a penalty for holding on Borthistle, I think. Unless it's on Romaniak. He's over to plead his case to the referee. But no, it'll be Borthistle, and he's going to be brought to the box. Another 2-minute power play here for Fort Garry, trying to tie this 1-0 hockey game.
I think Romaniak pleading for his teammate, you know, trying to make a case, but a nice play by Tremblay. He attacks the defense, tries making a skill move on him, gets his stick caught up, and that ends up drawing the penalty. The 2 minutes to St. James. Before that, though, nice play by Robson, busting into the zone and feeding Romanek with a pass. It's just a great save by Carson Fisher at that point. Fort Garry with a 2-minute power play here.
Comes over to Tremblay, takes it on a hop off the boards. Can't settle it down. The pass is picked off and cleared to center. It goes off a skate. And Fort Garry in possession. Finishing the check there for St. James was Tyler Sawchuk. Now here's Hedlund on the right side at center. To Tremblay, he'll bring it in. Tremblay throws it round the boards and behind the net. It goes into the far corner. Lizotte takes a look, hit with force, but he's able to get a stick on it and play it behind the net. There's Medwick. Medwick at the goal line, out to Tremblay. Tremblay to the middle for Hedlund. It hops off his stick to center, and the puck leaves the zone. Only 42 seconds left in the second period. And now here's Hedlund on the power play. 1 minute left in that. He centers it. It goes off the stick of Lizotte and into the corner. Lizotte throws it round behind the net. Gilberto was there for it. First guy on it there will be Liam England. He'll clear it forward for St. James. Puck battle on the near side. It comes free. Lizotte sets it up for Tremblay, and a slap shot is stopped there by Liam Johnson. And we'll get another face-off in the zone. Better on the power play that time.
Yeah, and just the unfortunate part about that was no traffic in front of Johnson to take away the shot. Still a nice attempt by Tremblay, but I think one thing along with, like, not only do they have the skill missing, but we saw it right there, like, they were getting better looks, but the puck luck just hasn't been great for the Twins today. They've been having that, just those hops, just that extra hop over the stick, and yeah, it's been frustrating for sure.
Here's Klimchuk at center. Only 3 seconds left in the period. Klimchuk brings it in. They run him out of room, and that'll be it. 1-0 St. James on a goal there by Tyrone Willen. His 30th on the year and his 90th point. And the players for St. James will go down the runway up 1-0 through 40 minutes. Graham, what do you think Fort Garry's got to do to tie this game?
Get pucks on net any way you can and get bodies to the net. You know, we've seen it at times, and they've had some dangerous chances when they've had more traffic around the net when they're throwing shots there. And overall, just continuing to get good saves from Carson Fisher. He's been really good today, if you ask me. A real standout from Fort Garry, making some huge saves. And just, don't make it easy for St. James. You've been fighting hard in this game. Nothing has come easy. The goal they got, it was a skill play by Willen, but they had to crash the net. Continue to not give them anything that they're going to be able to capitalize on easily, and I think that Fort Garry have good chances to maybe potentially come back in this game. Higher chances at that.
1-0 St. James. 25 seconds left in the penalty to St. James, and that'll be played in the third period through 40 minutes. 1-0, and we'll be back with the third. You're watching the Canucks and the Twins here on G-Show Productions. Century Arena, 1-0 for the St. James Canucks going into the third period against the Fort Garry Twins. And the Twins will start period number 3 on the power play for 25 seconds. A man in the penalty box for St. James. The goal was scored in the period by Tyrone Willen, his 30th on the year. One of a whole bunch of guys who have gotten to that mark. Ashton Romaniuk is there. Rory Neal's got 49. K.O. Price, had he not been ejected from the game, could have gotten there. But the point is, Graham, that these guys are loaded, and it's a one-goal game. Not only are they loaded, but the Twins, very short-handed, are only down 1-0, but they do need a goal here in this third period, Graham.
Yes, they do need a goal, but in terms of what they had to deal with coming into this game, the situation presented, what was at hand, they've played really well, all things considering. Yes, they haven't put up the most shots in this game, and yes, there's been some times where St. James is putting up a lot of high-quality chances, but the fact that Fort Garry is in it, only down 1-0 with 19:22 remaining, is spectacular.
Medwick turns and shoots, so the puck goes wide of the net. On the far side, they'll battle for it, and it'll be cleared off the glass by St. James to the line, but not out. Englund is shoving his man. The puck is under his feet, and then it'll come out and be cleared up over the glass by St. James. So the puck will stay in the zone. And a line change here for both teams. Almost a minute gone by here in the third period. We're back to 5-on-5. And an offensive zone face-off here for the Twins. Haight will lean in to take the draw. It's won by Lizotte. Klimchuk had it poked away. Now back comes St. James. There's a race for the puck at the blue line. Diving for it is Voth. Willen came up with it, but the puck rolled in behind the net. And now it's Caden Hedlund back in behind his own goal there for the Twins. Lets it fly along the boards. Nobody touches it. It'll go all the way down for icing.
Tyrone Willen there trying to break through, but the Twins not allowing him to. I believe it was Hedlund who had him stopped up as he was trying to get through there, causing that disruption. I think Willen was looking for a penalty to be drawn because of that stick work by Hedlund, but no penalty on the play, and we play on.
And a good diving play there by Eric Voth on defense on that play. Neal and Willen now have 90 points after Neal got an assist on Willen's 30th on the power play goal in the second period. Lizotte clears it to center. With it there is Borthistle. Now St. James in possession in their own zone. Causing some trouble there is Lizotte. Borthistle retreats back in behind his own net. Pass goes up the right side, and now brought into the zone on right wing here by Romaniuk. Romaniuk is brought to the ice by Voth. The net comes off, and we'll see if there will be a penalty. The puck was shot towards the net while Voth was down. Neal gets shoved for that. And the referee is going to give a couple penalties here. Looks like one of them will be to Declan Bowden. But I think I heard him say there's more.
The initial one's for sure going to Voth. That was the initial penalty called on Romanuk.
Nope.
But is Voth getting away with it?
Yeah, so, like I said, it's going to be Bowden, and then it'll also be Lane Richardson. Oh, you're right. You're right, Graham.
The box.
Yeah, he was on the bench, and now he's being brought in.
He tried getting away.
I mean, it's possible he didn't hear. The referee did call out immediately 3 penalties. So 2 guys in the Fort Garry box, 1 for the Canucks. Having said that, there's only 1 penalty on the board right now, and they're playing 5-on-4. Gibson, shorthanded, will clear it to center. He'll give chase. Up against Neal. He takes the puck, and he couldn't get it to go. Now he throws it to the front of the net, and the puck squeezed through and sat right in the blue paint. Now brought back the other way by the Canucks. A pass meant for Romaniuk was behind him. It comes over to Robson, and Robson will put on the brakes along the boards. Back to Rory Neal, and across it goes for Willen. Willen on the left side, watched by Medwick, back to Neal. One touches it into the corner. Livingstone goes back there, and they'll battle back in behind the Fort Garry net. Romaniuk comes out of there, twisting and turning, watched by Parker. Slips into the corner. Back out of the line, it goes for Neal. Over on the left for Willen. Pass to the front, goes off the stick of Gibson. Robson's in there for St. James. And now controlling on the right side is Ashton Romaniuk. Out high, a shot wide off the back wall. Sent back to the point. Wrist shot there by Neal. That one goes wide. It sits in behind the net. Getting wrestled down is Greenwood. And now it'll be a clear out to center for Medwick. Robson is back on it for Neal. Over the blue line down the middle. Neal slips toward the net. A backhander and a save is made there by Fisher. And the rebound comes all the way out to the point. Tyrone will into Borthistle in the middle. 26 seconds left in the penalty. Battle for it behind the net. Big hit down there by Livingstone. And the puck comes to the near side. Neal back to Borthistle at the left point. 14 seconds in the penalty. Comes to Neal out high. Over to Romaniuk and a one-timer stopped by Fisher. Rebound will be cleared by Hedlund. And now coming for it on the right wing side here for the Twins is Porter Holland. It's poked away by the defenseman Borthistle. And now St. James will get it to center. Younger back for Haight at his own blue line. Haight's pass over to the left for Borthistle. That one will deflect into the Twin zone, and Flood is back on it. Flood plays it forward. They'll battle for it on the far side. It'll be cleared out to center by Klimchuk. Shot back in by the Canucks. By the way, Graham, I want to mention something. I apologize on our behalf. We've been talking about Liam Johnson as the goaltender for the St. James Canucks when, in fact, it hasn't been him. He was on the sheet we got that everyone got coming in. Here's a drive there by Holland, and a save is not made by Johnson. Instead, it's by Connor Murphy, who's been playing in net the entire time. So I apologize to him and to the Canucks.
Yeah, and Connor Murphy is listed as an AP, and if you look on MMJHL, their website, he actually has the best save percentage in the whole league. Obviously, it doesn't count as the best, but it is the best based off of the numbers. So, I mean, man, once again, an example of how loaded this St. James Junior Canucks team is, that even their AP has been terrific.
Everybody's out of the box. Pass back to Hedlund. Couldn't get a stick on it. Goes all the way down into the Fort Garry zone. And Carson Fisher out to play it. They get it up the far side, and they'll battle for it along the boards. Thorstenstein is in there. Gets it back to the point. And it'll be played from the far side to near by Liam England. Picked up by Gilberto. He'll come to center. Takes a hit from Caden Osterman. Throws it into the zone. It's kicked back out there by England and driven back in by Fort Garry. Pass to center ice for Caden Osterman. Moves it forward. Kai Parker goes back into the corner. Chased by Sawchuk. Gets it behind his own net for Eric Voth, and they'll get it outside the zone. Lizotte, pass for Gibson. Too far, and that'll be icing on the Twins, Graham.
And
almost
a good penalty kill, all things considering, once again, from the Twins. In terms of them surviving, because, oh man, was St. James working that puck on that power play sequence. But just want to point back, going way back into the play where, for the first time today, Rory Neal makes a bit of a mistake, and a chance for Fort Garry for them to almost tie the game at 1-0, or at 1-1.
Romaniuk forces a turnover, brings it in, fires, and a save is made by Fisher. Rebound swept into the corner by Parker, and he'll clear it up the boards. Bowden was there, beaten to the puck, and it's thrown in deep there by Ethan Robson. On the near side, they fight for it. Played forward by Gibson. Neal holds the line, shoots it wide, comes off the back wall. Romaniuk gets there on left wing, gets it back to the point. A shot didn't get through, and it'll be picked up by Bowden, who skates to center. Bowden on right wing, into the zone. Good play there, trying to get away from Phillips, but it's poked away from him. Phillips clears all the way down to the Fort Garry zone. It goes right on the net, so smothering it is Carson Fisher. 1-0 the score for St. James with 13:22 to go here in the third period at Century Arena.
And Carson Fisher just deciding to give his team a little breather, cover it up, get a face-off. This team, I feel like they've been confident in their goaltending ability all season long, too, that they like it sometimes when he slows down the play, especially when the team is as shorthanded as they are.
Blocker save by Fisher, rebound, and Mason Vandell is denied there by Fisher again, and the puck goes up out of play. Crucial to keep this game a one-goal game here in the third period. Another face-off in the Fort Garry zone.
For the St. James Junior Canucks, we've seen their speed on display and how intense they are. The high intensity, their attack in the net and getting two quick chances, and Fisher up to the task on both of those.
Flood, a long pass. Coming up forward on the right side there is Porter Holland, the shot, and that'll deflect up out off the glass. Tyrone Willen clears it to the line. Good keeping by Livingstone. Shot from the blue line, and a save is made. And the puck goes over to the far side. Livingstone. He's trying to get away from Haight. Haight ties him up along the boards. It'll be poked back to the blue line. And now on the right side, there's Livingstone. Haight came towards him. Fires a shot. That one goes wide of the net. And now the puck will be cleared off the glass, but it goes up out of play. And the faceoff will, I believe it'll come outside the zone.
We'd seen Porter Holland there go down the right side. Got a shot on net there on Connor Murphy as he put it to the side. But Porter Holland, he is an AP. He plays on St. Paul's high school team. He was their leading point getter this year with 26 points in 21 games played. And he's got 2 goals in 4 games played with Fort Garry heading into this one this year. So we've seen him. He's put shots on net. He's been effective in some ways tonight, and obviously effective coming into tonight's game with the points before it.
Willen couldn't juggle the puck at the Twins' blue line, and now Lizette comes back the other way. Pokes it up into the left wing corner. Gibson there behind the net, stops up. And now they'll fight for the puck down in the near corner in the St. James zone. Comes out to Parker. A shot from the line was blocked, and now Haight coming back the other way. Up ahead for Mason Vandell. 3-on-1 into the zone here for St. James. A shot save made the rebound, and Haight was there, but he couldn't get the puck to go towards the net. Now it's controlled by Fort Garry, and they'll bring it back the other way from right to left. Gibson across the blue line. Drops it to Lizotte. Got a guy going to the net. Gilberto centered it. Goes off the post. Gibson was in front. And that'll be called. 1-0 the score for St. James with 11:39 to go here in the third period. Face-off in the St. James zone. And Sloan Tremblay up to take the draw. Got Mariano on his right, Klimchuk on his left. And it'll be controlled off the draw there by St. James. It'll be cleared into the zone by Lane Richardson. Voth will backhand it back to center. Mariano juggled it. Comes to Klimchuk, and he'll bring it in on left wing. Klimchuk throws it deep into the St. James zone. The pass comes to the line, kept in by Livingstone, and a shot is stopped there by the goaltender Connor Murphy. And he'll get a face-off in the St. James end.
And Livingstone at the point there with a quick snapshot, high snapshot on Connor Murphy, and Murphy able to come down with the save, or come away with the save, and we got another face-off in the St. James end.
Greenwood chips it to center. Controlled at the red line by Livingstone. He gets run into there by Younger. the zone entry on left wing. They can't get it very deep into the zone. It'll be cleared right back out. Here's Tremblay at his own blue line. Pass on the right for Livingstone. Drives it in deep. It's in behind the St. James net. And they'll move it on the left side to center. It's poked forward there by Younger. Hedlund, not a lot of time. He clears it off the boards. The puck comes to center and brought back in by Neal down the middle. Neal into the left circle. Pass toward the middle. There's Younger. Separated from the puck by Tremblay. Now Bowden picks it up on left wing. He'll play it forward. Couldn't get it past the red line. Greenwood shoots it back in. Goes off the blocker of Carson Fisher. And then he'll play it to Hedlund. Pass comes to center. It goes off of Porter Holland. Controlled and brought into the zone by St. James. Robson into the slot. Romaniak hit the post. And now he'll go to get it in the right corner. Romaniak pass toward the middle. Curling to the outside. There is Robson. To the point, it's picked off. Here's another breakaway for Porter Holland. Shoots and he missed the net. Porter Holland behind the goal, fighting for it. 2-on-2 battle in behind the net. Second time Holland's had a breakaway. But he cannot convert on those opportunities. Kai Parker in a foot race back to his own zone with Romaniak. Romaniak brings him to the boards. Voth separates the puck from that corner, and now a lead pass is touched by St. James, and the penalty is called. Another power play here for Fort Garry, and some guys who aren't dressed for the Twins are being pretty vocal from the stands. It'll be Romaniak sitting down in the box.
I really don't know what he's yapping about. That is such an obvious blatant hold into the boards by Romaniak. And I just don't understand, like, some players, I just feel like they can't admit they're wrong, right? And in this situation, Romaniak, yeah, frustrated, but an obvious penalty that puts Fort Garry on the 5-on-4 for 2 minutes here.
Definitely agree with that. I don't know how you couldn't call that. Tremblay at the blue line on the power play, setting up for Fort Garry. Wrist shot stopped there by the goaltender, Connor Murphy. Cleared out and down the ice by St. James. 20 seconds gone by in the penalty. And Flood will bring it forward. Down 1-0. 9:09 to go here in the third period. Flood brings it into the zone. Wide to the outside. Pokes it behind the net. Gilberto's there. His pass toward the blue line is cleared by Troy Borthistle down the ice. Fisher leaves it to Tremblay back in behind his own net. Passes ahead just out of the reach of Gilberto. And it'll be cleared right back in by Liam England. It's poked away by Voth. And now it comes to Flood. Over to Darian Medwick, who was going to the bench, wasn't ready for the puck, and it'll be brought back in on left wing by Liam England. Long shot in on Fisher, and he'll handle it. Flood brings it round. Declan Bowden comes onto the ice for Medwick. Flood gets up to the red line. He got knocked down on the play, and England once again will clear it into the Fort Garry zone.
Trouble for Fort Garry here, breaking in on this man advantage one. They got to take advantage of here in this one-goal game where they're down 1-0.
A pass from Lizotte that'll deflect back to center.
You got to focus on getting pucks in deep here and going to work on with your forecheck and on the cycle, I think, Graham.
Only 20 seconds left in the power play now, and they haven't really been able to set up. Now Younger spins away from Bowden, walks in, shoots, and it goes off the chest of Fisher. Hedlund trying to get the puck back for Fort Garry. He does, but less than 10 to go here in the penalty. 7:39 to go here in the third period. 1-0 for St. James. Lizotte brings it into the zone. On the outside, back to Hedlund to the point. Back to 5-on-5. Hedlund shoots high. That one stopped the rebound. Lizotte a drive, and that one missed. Now it's centered. Lizotte lost it, and it'll be cleared out down the ice there by St. James. That could have been icing. I'm not sure if that was going to end up going on Carson Fisher. But in any case, he uses the stick just in case. The fans for St. James want to call for too many men. Won't get one. A shot by Caden Osterman missed the net. It's behind the goal. And controlling it in deep there is Tyler Sawchuk. Now here's Neal. Neal shoots high. And a guy had to come off there for the Fort Garry Twins. That was clearly too many men at the end of the day. Borthistle steps into his man after the whistle. Klimchuk. But in any case, the penalty will be called on Fort Garry, I think.
an obvious too many men
Yeah.
there, and you know, it looked like Fort Garry had the situation resolved the first time, and then we continue hearing the hollering from the St. James bench. I look over, and there's a Fort Garry Twins player still on. The ref catches it, puts the arm up, but just bad management there by the bench there from Fort Garry. Maybe it was just the players ignoring the calls and going out, but a lot of confusion, and that can happen here, especially late in this hockey game with a power play that hasn't scored yet, but has been buzzing away in this game in St. James.
Sitting in the box is Ethan Mariano. Romaniak has the puck for St. James on the power play. That'll get set up. Here's Neal down for Romaniak. Neal at the blue line. Romaniak on the right side. Cross for Tyrone Willen. Has the goal. Sets up Neal. Looking for number 50. Shoots it and it'll deflect out of play.
I just want to point something out that I think is amazing. Sad news last year from the St. James Junior Canucks staff in terms of their trainer. Mark Wankling unfortunately passing away just before the season started. The statement was published on September 20th in 2021. They had his jersey on the bench with his name on it, Graham, for every single game last year and this year. They're commemorating him and honoring his name by wearing patches with his nickname Wanks.
Awesome thing to do for the hockey club. Neal is chased after by Gibson. Gets it forward, and now the power play will break out. Driven in deep by St. James. Romaniuk to come up for it on the right side. He'll pump it back up the wall. Hustling to keep it in there is Robson. He does. He gets it across. And there's Zach Greenwood. Out to Robson it goes. Robson makes his way to the middle. Shoots, and that'll deflect over the glass. 5:37 to go in the third period. 1-0 for St. James here at Century Arena.
What's really stood out to me from St. James in terms of their passing is not only how quick and accurate they've usually been today. I mean, they've missed on some passes, but it's also when they don't make a too exactly entirely accurate pass. English was a bit broken there, but they do a good job of recovering and keeping it alive, kicking it up to themselves with their skates.
Wrist shot score! Tyrone Willen's second of the game, and it's 2-0 St. James. Bar down on the wrist shot. Power play goal, and that'll be the second power play marker of the game for the Canucks.
Tyrone Willen with his 31st of the year. The first one, a really skilled play getting to the net. The skating ability on full display. This time another skilled play, and it's with the shot. An absolute laser going over the shoulder of Carson Fisher. Really no chance on that one, and the lead now 2-0 with 5:25 left here for St. James.
Now Flood in his own zone across for Parker. If you're Fort Garry, your work is absolutely cut out for you. Score twice. And now here is Gilberto in the corner. They get it toward the front of the net. It's paddled away. Flood a shot from the line. That'll deflect into the corner. Kai Parker goes down to get it. Try to move it down the boards, and it'll be cleared right back out to center ice there by Borthistle. The pass to center for Gilberto. Up ahead for Bowden. Weaves his way outside. Trying to maintain some room. Now a puck battle in the near corner. Seconds tick away. 4:38 and 37 now to go here in the third period. A wrist shot by Bowden and a save made by Murphy. Now Gilberto lost it in the feet of Greenwood. Throws it back in deep and controlled here by Cole Younger. Younger giving chase up the right side into the zone. Got a guy going to the net. A shot and a pad saved by Fisher. The rebound bounces behind the net. Younger spins to the outside. Rubbed into the boards there by Bowden. And it'll be sent from behind the net by Jacob Flood over to the near side. Here's England coming out of the pile. Backhands it to the front. Neal, a shot from the blue line, and that one was stopped there by Fisher. And now here's England on the right side. Shoved into the wall by Gilberto. Comes in behind the net. Controlled there by Thorstensson. Neal to England. Shot off the dasher. And now here's Caden Hedlund on the right side. Trying to fight for it there for Fort Garry. The Canucks are up 2, and they got the Twins hemmed into their own zone. The puck goes off of Englund to Gilberto, and he'll clear out to center. Neal up for Younger on right wing. Right back in for St. James. The pass. Miss Sawchuk. Goes to the corner to get it. Centered it for Caden Osterman. It's knocked off his stick. Neal is in there. Banked it back to the blue line. Comes out of the zone. But Richardson is right on it there for the Canucks. Back in down the middle. It's poked off his stick. It's controlled by Neal, who shoots. It went off of a body. And once again, it's controlled here by St. James. Osterman played it in deep. Only guy on it there was Medwick, who lifts it high to center, and Aiden Bruce goes back. Much needed line change there for Fort Garry.
I really can't get over how much pace and how quick this St. James team plays with. They're just relentless all game long on the puck. Those motors they've been revving today, Graham.
Good defensive play to knock the puck away from Porter Holland. Caden Osterman shoots it deep. Fisher leaves it behind his own net. 2.5 to go in the third period. The Twins are down 2-0 here at home to the St. James Canucks. Now Richardson at center. Plays it ahead for Sawchuk, who drives it into the Fort Garry zone. Livingstone goes back on it. Robson's on him. Livingstone's pass, it'll bounce. Voth passes to center. Gibson looking for Tremblay, couldn't find him, and the puck winds up in the arms of the Canucks defense. Pass comes up the right side for Robson, who gains the line. The pass is picked off and skated back by Kai Parker to center, stopped by Romaniak. Over the line, he's got Robson going to the net. Romaniak's pass off of Voth. Romaniak picks it back up, turns and shoots from the right circle, and a save is made by Fisher. Took it in his chest and hangs on. $1:45 on the clock. 2-0 for the visiting St. James Canucks.
Kai Parker's one-handed attempt at poking that puck away to safety is met with failure as a turnover is caused. Going the other way was St. James, but again, another save by Carson Fisher, who, I'll iterate again, has been really good in this game despite the 2 goals he's let in.
The Canucks are just shutting down the Twins right now. But here's a 2-on-1 right as I say that. Mariano with Gibson going to the net. Mariano shoots, and that'll deflect away to the corner.
It's those plays right there, Graham, in this game today that the Twins got to take advantage of. They've had many breaks like this. It's either been missing the net post or, a good save by St. James goaltending.
And then Willen shoots it in. Flood plays it round behind his own net for Hedlund, who stick handles coming up the right side. Plays it ahead. Haight knocks it down, and now he'll play it on back into his own zone for Borthistle. The pass up the right side. It goes off of Mason Vandel and in deep. He'll go to get it. Tried to center it. It's controlled and cleared back out to center ice there by Matt Lizotte. Icing on Fort Garry. 39 seconds to go in the hockey game.
Didn't have it on the stat sheet here out in front of us. Connor Murphy is what I meant to say. He's been really good in this game. He has a shutout going still with 39 seconds left, and St. James, they're going to finish with 40 wins this season, barring a miracle from the Twins here in these 38 seconds remaining now.
They play it to center. Gibson clears it into the St. James zone. 30 seconds on the clock. Neal sends it along the boards. Coming for it on the right side and shooting it back around behind the net was Bowden. The puck comes to center as it's skated ahead there by Mason Vandel. Now Klimchuk at center. At the red line. Plays it ahead to Lizotte. Across the blue line as the pace slows a bit here in the dying seconds of the hockey game. Borthistle behind his own net. Clears it up ahead. It was knocked down with a high stick. But they'll let the horn go. The final score here from Century Arena. St. James Canucks 2. Fort Garry Fort Rouge Twins nothing. As it'll be the final game before the two clubs move on to the playoffs at the end of the MMJHL regular season.
And with this win for the St. James Junior Canucks, they of course move to 40 wins on the season. They end off their 2022-2023 MMJHL campaign with a 40 4-1 record, 270 goals for, and 115 goals against.
Crazy.
We'll start off with them. I know the team we are doing the games for is Fort Garry, but we saw the best team in the MMJHL play today, and they came to play. I mean, they didn't put up the most goals, the most offense that they've been putting up before this season. It wasn't a blowout, but just from top to bottom, a dominant game where they didn't give Fort Garry that much space at the end of the day. And when Fort Garry was getting their opportunities, as we saw when there were those breakdowns, like I said, Connor Murphy was able to come up with saves. St. James getting lucky with some posts that Fort Garry hit, them missing the net at times, but overall, just a sound game from St. James with beautiful puck movement, and they gave Fort Garry a lot to handle here, and kudos to Fort Garry. We'll get into them next for them battling in this game.
And by the way, Tyrone Willen, goals number 30 and 31 on the year. He's now up to 91 points for the league lead. A first-team All-Star coming into this game, tied for the lead in points with Rory Neal. Neal got an assist on the first goal. I'm not sure about the second one yet, but in any case, St. James, a dominant performance. Good penalty kill showed by the Fort Garry Twins, I think, early on, and I think they did a really good job of competing with them while they were in it with them the whole way.
Oh yeah, Fort Garry didn't back off in this game, and I spoke about it before the game. I alluded to it, how if anything, you gotta fight in this game, and you gotta build those good efforts. You gotta have good habits, a good taste in your mouth heading into playoffs. Know that you can play with these guys, and with all these guys out, and Osterman and Helamandaris and Sam Matani, those are three huge players for Fort Garry that they didn't have the luxury of having, especially with their goaltender and Birch Hayden too being out. So I like the way they fought their penalty kill. It was, as advertised, best in the league, playing really tight on St. James. It was just a great play by Willen, a great shot that I don't think Fisher had really any chance of stopping there. But much like St. James, they were playing really tight, not giving them much time, and I think, seeing the very valiant effort from the Twins in this game was a really good sign heading into playoffs, with them being shorthanded, seeing that spirit.
Carson Fisher needs his name mentioned too. Awesome job in the net there for Fort Garry this evening. And like we said, a 2-0 final score in favor of the St. James Junior Canucks. My name's Graham Seaver-Fralick. This is Graham Forsyth here on G-Show Productions.
One final word here, folks, before we do end off. We did not do players of the game last time, and Graham, we're going to go, how about I do one, you do one.
Let's do it. Let's do it.
You know what? You go with the Canucks, I'll go with the Twins.
Let's do it.
Okay, so you start off with the Canucks.
Just absolutely put me on the spot.
Yes.
It's got to be Tyrone Willen. The second goal, both pretty impressive shots. And like you said, I don't think that Fisher necessarily had a chance on some of those. A really good shot, especially on the second one that went bar down, an absolute dagger from Tyrone Willen from the left face-off circle on the power play. Both on the power play, and I think they both did a really good job of, the team in general did a good job of setting up on the power play, and Willen just a beast on the on a couple huge shots.
Yeah, Tyrone Willen was, it was like his first year in the league last year, his first full year in the league, and his skill was on full display. I had the pleasure of watching him on live streams, and the skill on full display again tonight. The skating, the hands, the passing, the shot. 31 goals on the year now, and I don't know if Neal ended up getting more points matching him in this game, but if that's not the case, then Willen finishes as the points leader this year in the MMJHL. But in terms of Fort Garry, the player of the game for them in a losing cause, I think Carson Fisher was awesome in net. I think that Jacob Flood stood out with some really good defensive sticks in this game. And then the AP, the call-up in Porter Hall, and he was creating some really good stuff. Gilberto as well, but I'm going to go with Carson Fisher as the player of the game. I thought he played really good, and without his efforts sometimes, as much as I've been crediting Fort Garry, this game wouldn't have been as close as it was. So shout out to him. He gets the play of the game from Fort Gary's side of things, going with the goaltending.
2-0 your final score in favor of the Canucks. My name's Graham Sevier. He's Graham Forsyth on G Show Productions.